Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Virgo November 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, Clairvoyant. Well, this month we have rather a romantic deck. It's full of vampires, pretty women, handsome men, something for everybody, no doubt. And it's very good at pulling up the impact of the cosmic energies that will be around you so that you can manage them to success and emotional fulfillment. Now, you know, don't you, that I provide clairvoyant readings to people all over the world by way of FaceTime and Skype, and if you might be interested in that, just check out the information that's in the description at the end of the video. Now, I charge for those, I have to, but there's something else which I offer, and I do not charge for it, and it is the spiritual gift of healing. You might have some emotional issue or something that needs to be settled. You're probably saying to yourself, well, listen, if you're not charging for it, it can't be any good, because who gives anything away for free? It won't work. Well, actually, the thing is that if I were to charge for it, it would not work. It has been provided to me, I know, on the basis that I must offer it to people and I must get nothing in return for it, because the healing comes through me and not from me. And you can probably put two and two together as to where that comes. And so it's part of my soul contract here to offer it, which I've been doing for many decades now, to great effect. Now we're going to take 5 cards. And by the way, if that's speaking to you, that healing, don't be shy, just reach out. Lots of people do. You're one of many. The details are in the description. The cards that we're going to take now are 5. There's no ads coming into this content, by the way, so you get to enjoy the content direct and uninterrupted by video ads or anything like that. And we'll take the 5 cards, as I say, because they'll give you a really good insight into the energies that are around so that you can manage them to bring about success and emotional fulfillment. So, show me the magic. 10 of Skulls. 7 of Knives. The Star. Let's see what else is coming in here. That's what the back of them look like for people who are interested in backs of decks. Death. Great looking death card. I always liked the various depictions of death cards when they're done well, of course. Nothing too abstract. Let's have a look. Finally, it's this. The 4 of Skulls. Most interesting. Well, why don't I bring the camera around? You and I can have a look at the artwork on these cards together while the energies swirl and speak to us both while I do the reading for you. Fantastic set of cards for you this month, as we just saw. Now, what is this sense of hopelessness coming about? Doesn't belong here. Great self-awareness, transformations coming about, probably with respect to romantic matters, because I see these roses wherever I look. And let me see this woman here. Vampires. Do they live forever? I think they're here. They're kind of mortal, aren't they? And her cup is full, really. I'm not surprised, because this is Mercury ruling the 3rd decan of Virgo, which is the 13th to the 22nd of September, I suppose. Now that's really good astrologically. Virgo is about the mind, it's about communication, it's about the intellect. It's the channel between pure consciousness of being itself and you. And the other thing is, of course, is that Mercury rules Virgo, and it is also exalted in Virgo. So you'll have tremendous ability of the mind and to appreciate things, to conceptualize things, to get on top of things. And you'll also have great communication skill as a result of Mercury, and be a very good organizer as a result of Virgo. So put those two things together and you do end up with abundance. And with success, there's an inner and outer richness available to you now. And also, I think the ability to make your inner wealth available to others. There's a sense of prosperity is what I'm getting here. You're going to feel good. There's a richness to your life. Now, you may have something of a small lottery inheritance or a small lottery win. This is very good for people who are in family businesses, I might say. And a lot of good emotional energy here as well. In fact, I think it could well be that you are going to find emotional fulfillment. And how might you find emotional fulfillment? Incidentally, the material prospects are improved because of this card here, which I'll probably get to just next. Let me have a look at this. Emotional fulfillment. Well, the lesbian audience, please make the necessary adjustment. But I suppose I would sum up maybe emotional fulfillment in a practical sense like this. And it's when you find a man who calls you beautiful instead of hot, who calls you back when you've hung up on him, who will stand in front of you when others are throwing stones at you, or will stay awake just to watch you sleep, who wants to show you off to the world, even if you are just in sweatpants and back from having a long walk. A man who will hold your hand when you are sick, who thinks you're pretty without makeup, the one who turns to his friends and says, "That's her," the one that would bear your rejection even, because losing you means losing his will to live, and who kisses you when you mess things up, and watches the stars and names one for you and will hold. And if you have a baby, rock that baby for hours so you can sleep. Maybe that's what a sort of an emotional fulfillment is, because you have attracted to you everyone who is part of your life. You have created every situation in your life, and you create your own reality. Now, during this month, the wealth is in your hands to do with it what you like. So the responsibility is yours, and you are endlessly wealthy. Do you know about your beautiful inner wealth? And you share it generously. Write down on a piece of paper. Go through the exercise. Write down all of those qualities which you think make up your inner riches. And say to yourself, I am internally and externally rich and free, and enjoy everything thankfully and in surrender. Now, I said I was going to go to that other card down there. There's a lot of power associated with this, and I have got to tell you, there's a lot of healing associated with it as well. Is another one of these vampires, I suppose, who live forever? What is this? This would be the sun in the third, where are we placed? The third decan of Capricorn, which is the 13th to the 21st of January. Now, I'm just looking at this building here, and I'm healing love also is what I'm getting around it, even though it's a 4 of earth. Healing and love with this eternal or centuries-old vampire. I think he is saying to her, you will heal. And then he puts his hand on her cheek. And I don't think she has any feeling of dread, just the feeling of this God's hand on her. You will always be impossible, he added. And he put his hand on her other cheek. And of course with her there was still no sense of doom, of what might come. You will be the queen of power, he said, and he kissed her. Now, neither the mortal nor the god, they'd never been in love before. It is not every day or every week or every month or every year or every century that one person meets another who is their perfect foil. And it is not even every century that the pairing is that of a mortal and a god. It's more than simply love when it's a pair like this. It is balance, perfect balance, the push-pull of opposite forces that require each other. And it's a sort of love that never grows old. Now, as I say, this building here, to me, that symbolizes security and strength, really on all your levels of being. And the power which is expressed by this energy is shown in this solid, almost rigid form of this building, which I suppose is a fort or a castle. Everything is in its place. There's nothing ornate about it, decorating it. And this is showing strong foundations for you, stability. Now, it could also be that there is a tight rein on the budget and you're being financially cautious. Maybe even saving for the future, looking to, like this, to protect yourself. Now, I suggest that during this period, financial security, material security is going to be important to you, but this is saying that you have solid foundations for that. Now, of course, you're willing to work for what you want, and you'll have confidence in applying yourself out there in the world. You are a dependable person, and you'll be acting with integrity. Write down your goal and aim towards the specific goal and then the little milestones to get to it. This is also, as I say, a healing thing. There's a sanctuary here where you can find your inner voice. You might also be, I'm also getting the sense of materialism around here. You might be acquiring things so that you could show them off to other people. But you might also ask yourself this: is your life, your behavior like a rigid fort? Or does your life, your behavior need some more order or structure or solidity about that? A study of the different aspects of power. I think the best one is always the old. The old books are always the best ones. Machiavelli's book, The Prince, is available for free on the internet. Read through that. Everything else after that book is just a footnote here. But say to yourself, I offer my power in the service of love. Now, this other card that's sitting on top there that I mentioned just as we started is this one here. Now, I see it's sitting here, so it's definitely connected with this power and also with this prosperity and sense of abundance that's around you. And so this is saying that it is necessary to act. It's necessary to act. Why am I getting an unstable feeling around here? Well, it's the moon in the third decan of Aquarius, the 9th to the 18th of February, and the emotions of the moon can cloud the intellectual qualities of Aquarius. Aquarius is actually quite a detached and intellectual sign, as you may well have determined by looking at Aquarians yourself. So this ability within Aquarius is weakened by the moon coming into it. And with the number 7, it's the 7 of knives, I have an association with the feminine planet of Venus as well. So that feminine aspect is not rebelling, pushing back against thoughts, it is. Now remember, you paint your thoughts yourself, and you surround them with words that you have created yourself. And the most powerful words in your life that you will ever hear are the words that you speak to yourself. The other thing to bear in mind here is that, because I'm getting a feeling here about negative expectations or a sort of a despondency, a currency, almost like giving up before you've started something. Be aware that you are completely unique. There is never before in the history of the earth has there ever been anybody like you, and never again will there ever be anybody like you. And it is not an accident that you are here. You come with a purpose, and you come with talents and gifts, and use them. Now, it might be that, these cards here are saying that if you want these things here, you cannot have pessimistic thoughts or anxiety prevailing, because in reality, everything is really going perfectly well for you. It's the unconscious, the subconscious seems to have traded positions with you, bringing up, as the moon does by digging deep, maybe a lot of those programming that was set in place with you when you were a child. And so you might be looking at a situation, and maybe I can use the planets as a way to express your thoughts at this time. And like this, that Neptune might be saying, everything seems to be clouded by a film or veil. I just don't know what I really want. Venus might be saying, but it's all just too good to be true. Mars might say, I haven't the energy, there's no time, or I am already too old. Jupiter may well say, but that's too much good at once. I could never cope with so much success. And Mercury may well be saying, because Mercury is the planet of communication, that I'm just not able to get my point of view or my ideas across properly. And Saturn comes in and says, look, it's simply too much trouble. It takes too long. Well, these literally destructive thoughts must not be taken seriously. The real situation is very different from what you think it is. And very soon you're going to be laughing over your doubts. Remember, your fears have nothing to do with reality. You create your own fears. So wake up and see what's really happening. And actually also ask yourself, in what areas of your life do you put yourself down with your own words? I can't tell you the importance it is to act, just act. Take a couple of steps and the path will open up before you. It always does. I know it does. And I think you would agree with me. This is in relation to your own gifts and talents. You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that the ideal situation for a man or woman to die in is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. Now imagine, if you will, being on your own deathbed, and standing around your bed are the ghosts of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream, you never leant in for that kiss, you never said those words, you never used those gifts. And imagine that there they are, standing around you, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, "We came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with your body forever." And imagine, if you will, what love, what words, what gifts will die with you. Their own unholy miscarriage will be your physical death. Do you know the greatest wealth lies not in the oil fields of the Middle East, nor in the gold mines of Australia and China? Do you know where the greatest wealth lies? It lies in the cemeteries. The greatness we have never seen. The joy never passed on. The words of sweet love never spoken. The talents, large or small, never actualized. Say to yourself, I master all the skills and the means needed to achieve those things that I long for most deeply. Because you, of all people, that is definitely true. Now, as if to reinforce that, here comes Aquarius again, in my estimation. And in fact, here is the 7th star of Venus, which is the lesser benefic. Great good luck and good fortune around here. This is talking to you now of inspiration, of the crystallization of ideas, of self-recognition with yourself, trusting yourself. It's a time of hope, happiness, opportunities, and optimism. Cosmic blessings are raining down upon you, and help in all forms is going to come your way, and it's a time of tranquility. This energy is a beautiful process. Cosmic inspiration of the highest nature is coming through you so that you can make manifest your dreams on this material plane. Now, I mentioned Aquarius. Well, Aquarius is the water carrier, and she is sitting there with that chalice that's tipping out the liquid, I suppose. And this is the channel, as you will be, used by divine energy to manifest things on earth. There's a new crystal clear vision lending form and purpose to you, which only a few moments ago was a vague impression of which you thought, oh, I'll never be able to do that. And I think you're now getting a good view into your boundless potential. The power of the inspiration that you're getting now, you're getting it, and it's growing wings on your soul and lets the apparently impossible come about in miraculous ways. Remember, you are no bird and no net ensnares you. You are a free human being with an independent will. And when you discover who you are, you will be free. Now, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Because whoever looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. And with that card before with the moon, and when I spoke about the unconscious, realize that until you make the unconscious conscious, until you bring those things, very often painful things from your past and childhood, well, that unconscious mind will make your conscious mind direct your life. And you will call it fate, but it's not. It's action that you have programmed yourself, or has been programmed into you. And I might also mention this with respect to people with disabilities, because I know that some of our audience probably does. You see, part of the problem with the word disabilities is that it immediately suggests an inability to see or hear or walk or do other things that many of us take for granted. But what of the people who can't feel or talk about their feelings or manage their feelings in constructive ways? What of people who aren't able to form close and strong relationships? And people who cannot find fulfillment in their lives, or those who have lost hope, or who live in disappointment and bitterness, and find in life no joy, no love. These, it seems to me, are the real disabilities. This is also saying for you to remember that the only person who can pull you down is yourself. And say to yourself,
I am not going to let myself pull me down anything or anymore. Because remember also that the greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to yourself. And finally, I think it is it not, this card of, and all these flowers everywhere, I'm getting relationships around this, although it's not necessarily related to strong Scorpio influence here, actually. So it's about change and transformation, really, about death and resurrection, becoming free of old ensnarements, whether those ensnarements are situations or people. And I think it's also letting go of emotional attachments, those things that are no longer serving you. A lot of the times, change, Scorpio is in here, and this change is coming about come hell or high water for you. Now, you may think of relationships, I suppose, and sometimes you will remember in the past. This could also be something that you are reminding yourself of what happened in the past, I might say, where like one rainy Sunday night you sat wondering, how am I going to spend the rest of my life? Married to someone who is always distracted and somewhat scowling, as though there was some marvelous party going on out in the next room, which, but for me, they could be attending. Now, sometimes it is the case, of course, that we can become just covered in denial. But your body always knows, you know, because what the heart has not wept for, the body does. And sometimes it is not lies or lack of loyalty that ends a relationship. It is the agonizing truth that one person feels in their heart on a daily basis. They feel this truth on a daily basis. It's realizing that they are coping and not living. It's the false belief that there is some magazine or book or YouTube video or talk that will magically make you feel content, complete, or not care. However, that never lasts longer than a few days before your mind and your heart go back to what it wants. Really, it's the moment you realize that you left without ever leaving. It's the moment you realize that fear, shame, or guilt is the only thing standing in the way of the life God meant for you to live. When someone doesn't honor you and your interactions with them bring sadness and anxiety rather than joy, then perhaps it's time to give that relationship back to God so the two people involved can go on with God's plan. Relationships are never accidental. You do attract into your life everybody who's there. Anyway, I don't want to focus this on romance. I will say this, though, that you are now ready to make the necessary changes in your life and accept any pain that may come with the loss of the old. But do ask yourself this question: to what outdated relationships or situations are you still clinging? Say to yourself, I let go of people and situations with ease and with dignity, and every ending announces the new beginning. Death cuts away the undergrowth so that the sun can shine down onto the earth and the new seeds grow. So say to yourself here, I now say yes to death, and yes to myself. What a fantastic spread of cards for you, and made so much better by you being here.
Well, I told you that was an interesting deck, didn't I? And I hope you enjoyed the reading as much as I did by providing it to you. And unless I see you separately for a clairvoyant reading or for healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.